this unforgettable crunch of fanboy farts and verbal assaults in the morning. This over here is my Alienware M15 R5 series. No, of course it's not, it's a completely different model. This is a M15 R5. So let me give you a backstory. Dell, we have to talk. What the hell is this? Back in November 2020, I decided to treat myself and purchased the Alienware M15 R5 version. Received it about 3 weeks down the road, and then Christmas sale hits your website. I could not resist the additional discounts. So I contacted one of your support lines and asked them to match the price with the sales that you have going on, as I still was within the return period. Instead, I was told that it's not how it works and I have to return my original laptop and purchase a new one with the lower price. And that's when the fun started. I did exactly as I was told. I returned the laptop and received a new one in January. As soon as I opened it up, I found this issue. The camera assembly was screwed up. Out of these lined up camera devices, which one do you think is the $4,500 Alienware laptop? Yes, this one. And of course, I had to contact the support again. They offered me to either return it or replace it, because I didn't want to wait the extra weeks, going through the returns and losing the discounts. We went with the repair option. I have to admit, Dell arranged a repair person to come pretty much within a couple of days, and to my surprise, the repair guy told me, dude, don't even think replacing it with the parts I brought for you. The reason is, Dell is supplying their repair technicians with third-party manufactured parts, and that means they're of different grade or quality when compared to the ones assembled at the factory. And since that little tiny camera is already within the screen assembly, they would have to switch the entire screen assembly. And I took his advice. So Dell went through the entire change and exchange process there, and they sent me a new laptop, which arrived already in March. You see where I'm going to? That's already been 4 months since I purchased the initial laptop, which I was happy with. And all they had to do just match the pricing. And story didn't even end there. They sent me a wrong spec laptop. Since I went for the fully loaded version, they sent me a cheaper one. Of course, since I paid for it, I had to get the right laptop.
Eventually.
So here comes May. After going back and forward with Dell, again they agreed to replace my laptop. But this time, guess what? They discontinued the version I had. So they nicely offered me to select a laptop from their existing range. And that's exactly when the AMD 9 version of the Alienware laptop came out.
A little later.
So here comes mid-June. It's been already 7 months since I initially purchased the Alienware laptop. This thing arrives, and I noticed a few things. The video card cores are not all in place. And in fact, there's about 10% of them missing from the entire count. I started digging around and, surprise, surprise, I am not the only one. Dell has never admitted why it was missing in the first place, but was patched at that time with the R4 version of BIOS. Yes, the different model of laptop BIOS. And then after a while they issued a proper BIOS update that took care of the issue altogether. If you're buying it brand new, you might have that issue with your video card. I'm not sure it's because of that it went on sale. Yes, the exact version of the laptop I have here, this is a top spec R5, you can now buy in Canada for $3,200 with my 5% discount, which you can find in the link below. While I paid initially for my R3 version, guess what? $4,600. And if you take into account all the taxes, differences, specs, and etc., so I overpaid $1,000 to get this laptop back in November 2020. Well, what do you do in this case? I reached out to customer support, and all I'm claiming for is the price difference, which they politely told me I am not going to get back, because this is a already replacement machine and it's a newer model. But hey, let's have a closer look at what exactly has changed since the R3 version to the R5 and R6 M15 laptop, and was it a better change?
End of flashback.
I want to mention the box. They created a slimmer version. They no longer use the foam fillers and they made it like way slimmer. But what's interesting, it's not the box, it's how it smells. So this inner part is made of some plastic, which says it's 100% recycled plastics 25% from the ocean-bound sources. And it smells like fish. It literally smells like smoked salmon. I have no idea why. Maybe the technician who was putting the last upgrades on my laptop at the factory was eating fish at that time. No idea, but it literally smells like fish. Unfortunately, I cannot pass over the smell to you. So if you're buying one of these laptops or if it comes in one of these packages, let me know in the comments if you have that fishy smell. After all, there's quite a few things going fishy about this laptop. So the first thing is the first. When you open your laptop, you notice that the screen is very thin. Everybody likes thin monitors, but look at the wobble on this thing. Yeah, it's not that sturdy if you compare it to some other laptops. They are the same thickness with Lenovo, but Lenovo seems to be using a thicker plastic. I guarantee you at some point one of you, at least one of you in the world, will be so in a rush to open their laptop or will be angry or whatever it is. They'll try to open it too fast, you're just gonna break the corner off. Going back to the monitor, the display in this thing, even though it's wobbly, is actually pretty good, and this is maybe the only good thing about this laptop. My version of the laptop comes with the QHD display that puts out 240 frames per second. And after working with this for a while, I can no longer look at my other laptop that stands behind me there and has 4K 60 frames per second monitor. The image and the quality on this QHD is awesome, and I have absolutely no complaints about that. The travel range of the monitor is pretty decent. It goes far enough so you have that perfect angle for playing and can adjust to the external lighting so that you don't have the reflections. And while we're looking at the monitor here, I want to bring the attention to the camera. Finally properly done, unlike with the other machines, and they have the face recognition software as well. I've heard that it's optional on some machines, so you would have to check that, but it works perfectly and there are no issues whatsoever. It knows who you are. And yes, some people complain about the issues of privacy and etc, and they like to cover up their cameras. And if you need that extra security, well, you have to pick another laptop. Plus, you're still able to access your machine with the password. The next point I want you to look at is the overall design of this new machine. Just look at it. It's nowhere near to the R3 series, the distinctive Alienware pedigree design. This thing carries none of it. Yes, there is Alienware sign on it, there's Alien head instead of the power button, there's Alien head at the back, but it looks like a Lenovo. Seriously, this is a Lenovo laptop, no joke. Again, even if you compare it with my workhorse Lenovo, this laptop has the design of an office laptop. Is this what you want to be paying the extra premium for? Because for me, when I hear the word Alienware, I assume few things. 1. It's something unique and expensive. 2. It's expensive because it's unique and you won't be able to find anything like that. And 3, it's powerful. None of these 3 points apply to this laptop. This is an average built gaming laptop at a premium price. The grille and all the LED lights and the functions it has. What I found out that if this laptop has been on for quite some time, the software that manages the LEDs simply crashes and it won't let you turn them back on again. Yes, they just shut down completely. The only thing to bring them back online is to restart the laptop. I guess it could be something to do with the Alienware Command Center software that initially was designed to manage all these lights and extra features, but I could not figure it out. So if you know what the solution was, let me know in the comments below. And speaking of the comments, let's help YouTube find and share this video with others. So make sure you click that like button, the subscribe and the bell icon below. The overall Alienware Command Center software is actually pretty neat. I have to admit that the quality of the images they put in it, the overall output is great, because if you compare them with the Asus ROG or the brand new ZenBook Pro Duo, even though it has a 4K screen, the software that comes with the laptop was not optimized and it looks slightly washed, really not that great on the 4K screen. While here, even when I had the 4K version of the monitor on my initial R3 purchase, every single bit of the Alienware software that comes with it was stunning. Next on the list is the keyboard. I got the Cherry MX hybrid keyboard, which is a version of a laptop mechanical keyboard by Cherry. It's okay, no more no less, yeah. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the mechanical keyboards. This one kind of does the job, but you have slightly deeper travel range for the buttons. I don't think there is a need for that on a laptop. Plus the sound. Like these keys, they're like extremely loud. And I feel like they were made mechanical just for that sound, but not for the functionality. Just listen to it. Very loud. LED backlight and the colors are completely customizable on this keyboard. Bear in mind, when you select your own laptop from Alienware, you select the per key color variant, because there is also a 4-zone variant of the keyboard, so you can select the color for a particular zone of the keyboard instead of the key. Might be a minor thing for some of you, but if you're already buying Alienware, get the best out of it. That's pretty much everything that tells you that this is a Alienware premium gaming laptop by Dell. Another thing about the R5 variant of this laptop, it comes only in the dark side of the moon color. And I personally prefer the R3 bright side of the moon version. It had that unique and pleasing look to it that this laptop has none of it. Next on my list is the cooling system. On this machine is also a struggle. I have to admit that it tends to overheat. Here at the front grille, I can pretty much fry a couple of eggs and bacon in here. And hey, this is common for many gaming laptops out there. It just died, like during the testing. Just turned off and it was done. I cannot turn it on anymore. Oh, there it is. It's alive. Overheating was reported not only by me, but many other users, and many of them claim that machine tends to turn itself off completely when it reaches certain points. So you have to tinker around the Alienware Command Center cooling settings for this laptop and maybe clock the GPU or other attributes to a certain temperature altogether. And since the entire point of my channel is to show the usability of the items we present, I want to have the top performance straight out of the box without any additional configurations. And if I want to play with the settings, I have the option too. While in this case, you would have to play with the settings first. The ports on this machine. Look how much space it has. You are getting only 1, 2, and 3 USB-A type ports. Then you get one USB-C Thunderbolt, and that's about it for the ports. Where is your SD card slot? Where is your expansion port that R3 had to connect the external hardware, like additional video card? So with all this extra space sitting here at the back, why not just add the extra functionality? USBs, USB-Cs, and whatever it is. At least it has the Ethernet port and the headset jack, nothing else. The touchpad is definitely on the cheap side, definitely not something you would expect to see on an expensive premium machine. The travel of the button press is so deep that it's completely uncomparable to any laptop I ever had. It's just like, why is it so deep? Why do you have to travel so far? And that might be something to do with the recently announced X series of the same laptop that utilizes that backlit touchpad that they previously had on the other versions of the laptops, even though the response to the finger is okay. Now let's look at the upgradeability of this laptop, and there are a few things to notice. First, it comes with the proper RAM sockets. That means it's no longer soldered and you can upgrade your RAM at any time. Then the extra additional slot for the SSD is definitely a plus, but that's where the trick is. To properly mount this additional SSD stick, you need this metal bracket that is no longer supplied with the laptop. So you have to reach out to Dell and ask them for the part. After all, like, how much would it cost? 2 cents? Yet they decided not to do that and try to explain what you need to the customer support. However, I'm not going to complain about this. Many modern laptops come with only one SSD slot, which is garbage. And while we are at the back, let's look at the speakers. They do have some bass in them, and they are located at the bottom, unlike with the R5 series that used to be right here up front. These sound pretty bad, and even though they can get loud, it's very hard to distinguish the sounds and the voices all together when it's playing. So I ended up using this laptop exclusively with a headset on. And speaking of headset, I got this Alienware AW988 version. So if you want to learn more about this headset, make sure you subscribe and like the video to stay tuned of the upcoming review. The Wi-Fi and Ethernet port work awesome on it. High speed, no issues whatsoever. Another thing that this machine and every other machine going forward is missing is the Tobii camera. If you don't know what Tobii is, just Google it. Tobii eye tracking device. That would provide you with some really cool features when you're playing games and would give you a little bit of gaming advantage, especially in the shooters, because Tobii allows you to track your eyes and turn the camera in-game based on the motion of your eyes. So if you're looking at the edge of the frame, the entire view camera switches to that area. Isn't that great? It's magic right there, but they stopped doing it. The battery on this laptop is actually pretty good. For a gaming laptop with all this hardware inside, it can last you up to a couple or maybe even 3-4 hours, depending on what you're doing with it, if you're browsing, or my personal record was 3 hours of watching YouTube. And if any of you used to own one of their first machines, like I've been user of Alienware since 2006, I remember that Area 51 laptop, the battery would die in like 40 minutes. Great improvement in 15 years. So let's wrap it up. Is this version of the M15 series worth it? In my personal opinion, no. For the same price tag, you can definitely find something better and cheaper. The overall round shape and the corners scream at me Lenovo or any other simple laptop out there with the budget price point in mind. Plus, lately Alienware has been having so many quality issues, so you never know when you're gonna get a nice laptop or how many versions you're gonna go through before you end up having a laptop to keep, just like I did, right? So it took me 7 months, guys, 7 months to get this laptop, and this is not even a laptop I initially purchased. The face recognition is great, works seamlessly. The display is great, but it's wobbly. The keyboard, Cherry MX variant of the laptop mechanical keyboard, is loud and practically the same as any keyboard on a laptop. The travel is slightly deeper and it creates more sound, but that's about it. Instead, it makes you press the buttons harder. Touchpad is absolutely rubbish. It falls through and like you can pretty much lose your finger in the gap. The cooling needs additional work. Well, if you get the lower spec model, maybe the cooling issue altogether will not occur. But on the highest spec version, you get more chances of overheating. So you have to clock down your device. Limited number of ports, of course, is another issue with this machine. And terrible speakers, which definitely are not supposed to be installed on a machine that claims to be in the premium tier of the laptops. Now let's give this laptop the Roman score. Maybe stay away from this variant. And taking into account that Dell also makes the G-series gaming variant of Dell laptop separately, which utilizes the old Alienware chassis, I see exactly where they're going with the R5 and R6 redesign of the body. With that said, I hope to see you in my next video about the headset and many other things to come. See you soon, make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe and the bell button, and I'll see you next time.